Hello everyone, and welcome to F.Y.I. Uxbridge. I'm your host Barry Giles, the station manager here at Uxbridge Community Television. For those of you who don't know about the show, F.Y.I. Uxbridge is a program about the people, places, and events that are happening here in our town of Uxbridge. And today, my guest is Town Manager Stephen Setti, and we will be discussing the upcoming town meeting warrant and going over each article to give you a better idea of what you can prepare for next Tuesday and Wednesday. So it will be 2 nights of town meeting. Let's start with that. Why 2 nights?
Well, because there's a couple of different things to this warrant. One is the general items that we always go over each year at this time. That part of it probably won't take that long, really. It's a fairly basic and vanilla warrant. But the second night is going to take a little bit more time because that has to do with the charter review. Every 10 years by charter, we're required to appoint a charter review committee. They take about a year to look at the charter to see if there's any recommended changes. And they do this year. They do have a significant number of changes that they'd like to propose anyway. So we felt that to give it its just due, we'd have a second night of town meeting just dedicated towards the charter changes.
Okay, so once again, it is, excuse me, Tuesday, October 26th and Wednesday, October 27th at 7 p.m. at the Valley Chapel, where we've held it in the past. And we will start, as moderator Ed Mahari says, we start promptly at 7 as we can. All right, so let's dive into the warrant.
First, with that, we will have COVID protocols in place.
Okay.
It's recommended that people wear a mask, but it's just a recommendation that's from both CDC and the state. Social distancing, it depends on how people feel, with the groups they're with, but it won't be like we've had in the past where we've had everybody, places on the chair where people can sit and all that. So depending on how comfortable people feel, they'll be able to to sit where they'd like.
Great point. Thank you for bringing that up. All right, so we can start right into it. Mr. Mahari always starts off with his introductions to the conduct of the meeting, which are included in the warrant, which you can review. And Article 1.
Okay, Article 1, starts off the meeting. Obviously, it's a transfer to stabilization. One general comment I'd like to make before this is that the town is in a very healthy place right now. I'm going to give you a number as to what we have of estimated free cash. It's probably a number this town hasn't seen before, and very few towns in the area have. Okay, so our estimated free cash as of July 1, 2021 is $5,394,393. We have retained earnings from the Sewer Enterprise Fund at $1,985,000, and the Water Enterprise Fund at $1,961,000, and Cable Enterprise at $162,898. So all very healthy numbers for the town. And again, that's because of the last 2 years of hard work getting us to this point, and getting us to the point we're in a financially in a pretty good place. If you watch social media and you hear other things, you think that sky is falling. Well, it's not. So I just want to reiterate that up front. So the first thing we do at town meeting is we transfer to stabilization. And right now the Board of Selectmen is still deciding on a financial management policy, but the policy right now says that out of the free cash that we have every year, $2.5 million worth of that gets transferred to stabilization right off the top. So if we stick with that number, the current stabilization balance is $3,910,264. Add the $2.5 million, our new stabilization fund account will be $6,410,264, which is more than 10% of what our budget is. And the goal that the Board of Selectmen is looking to get to is somewhere between 10 and 15%, which is what all the financial people want to see the health of a community. So if we go out to borrow money, we'll be able to borrow it at a very favorable rate, versus if you're below that and have no reserves, they're a little bit leery about lending you money. So we'd be in a good position for that. The next thing we would do on Article 2 is to transfer the remainder of that money to capital stabilization. So what we're going to transfer to capital stabilization is $2,894,393. So that's the amount of money that the capital planning committee would have to work with to fund the capital projects. And this year, what they're recommending is to fund in the neighborhood of $900,000 worth of projects. Now, there's one project in there. It's through the DPW, which is $160,000, and that's a removal of the. It's called DEP legacy material from DPW. That's all the when they clean out catch basins and different things. You need a place to store that.
Right.
They stored it at the DPW, but it's got to be removed and brought off site somewhere. So there's still some of that material that needs to be removed. So what's going to happen there is the motion will include that as part of one of the things we're going to fund. But the funding source, instead of being from capital stabilization, is going to come from just general stabilization.
Okay.
Okay, so the number that we're going to ask for capital purchases is going to be $907,008.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be looking to to transfer. Some of the things that we're looking to fund for the Council on Aging, there's going to be $38,000 for the replacement of the flooring, which is badly in need of that. The Police Department, we're going to fund $125,000 for the upgrade of the Dispatch Console Center. Originally, this is a request for $175,000 for a two-seat dispatch. When we added a third seat, the cost went to $200,000. But we were able to receive a grant in the amount of $75,000 to offset it, so it's $125,000. This will also allow us at some point to consider becoming a regional dispatch center as well.
Okay.
So to have that third seat's going to be important. We need $20,000 to replace the cell block floor carpeting. It's 20 years old and worn. We had an inspection come in, and the state said, well, basically, if we don't replace it, we're not going to be able to hold any prisoners in the cell block.
Okay.
So we need to do that. $17,000 to replace and install the HVAC compressor over there. For the fire department, there's $29,000, and that's to purchase a four-wheel UTV. We have a lot of trails and so forth that kind of go off-road, and right now we have no way to go in and do a rescue if we need to get in there. So they're going to use a four-wheel drive. For the Recreation Committee, we're going to fund $189,000 to replace the basketball courts and lighting at the Heckler Street courts. They were vandalized during this past year. Rims were pulled down, and the courts aren't in good condition in general. So we're going to do a complete replacement on that with heavy-duty courts and lighting, which will allow a lot more play for basketball over at the courts. DPW, we're funding $350,000 to purchase two D-rated snowplow trucks. By D-rated, it's not CDL. So anybody who's not CDL, who we hire as a plow, someone to do some plowing for us, can get behind the truck and plow. So we're doing that, and then we're purchasing a flail mower head for the new mower that we have. So those will be the.
So that amount that's presently on the warrant will change.
Right.
Because of the grant and everything.
Exactly.
Great.
Yep. So.
Excellent.
Yep.
And that was Article 3.
Right.
So we right in that.
Article 4, again, it's more of a housekeeping item. Currently, the town pays $2,500 annually to the state to have someone come in and, I don't know if anybody's seen it, a gas pump or on a scale in a deli. There's usually a little tag that says it was certified. Well, we have the state come in and do that for us, and it costs us $2,500. Most communities charge a fee back to that business to do that. That's what we're looking to do here, and we're looking to set those fees. The fees that are in here are the average of what all the communities who currently charge these fees throughout the Commonwealth charge. So we're not the highest, we're not the lowest, we're kind of right in the middle on everything. And basically all this will do is reimburse the town for the amount that we pay out now.
Okay,
So it's not an account that's going to become a revenue generating account. So that's what that will be. Article 5 we're passing over. It was to declare the old firehouse on North Main Street as surplus. Board of Selectmen can do that. They've already done that. The next two articles, 6 and 7, also are in line with that. The old for the old firehouse, we're looking to ask the town to transfer $30,000 from stabilization to fund the removal of the old firehouse if we can't sell it. That's Article 7, which is going to ask for permission to sell that property. So if somebody sells it, it'll be their responsibility to either renovate it or demolish it. And if we can't get anybody to buy it, then for the town, if we decide we want to do something with it, we'll have the $30,000 available to do that. So those two are kind of related in many ways. And it would be nice to see something happen with that. Right now, it's a property that, you know, we've noticed people have used for their own storage. We've had people in there that we've had to move out, those kind of things. So it's so it's going to give us an opportunity to do something with. Article 8, and this is you know, anybody who knows the Farnham House, you know, in town, the Farnham House is in need of restoration. What this is to allow for a transfer of $514,280. Now it's listed here from capital stabilization. Meeting the other night with the capital planning committee, they decided to not fund it from capital stabilization, but to request that it be funded from just general stabilization, because it's really not a renovation project, it's an emergency restoration.
Right.
If anybody's been in the building and down in the basement, you can see the building's actually twisting on the foundation.
Right. Yeah, we actually covered one of the meetings where the company that did the reports and everything came in with detailed photos and everything showing exactly some of the deterioration of the building and what needs to be done to restoration for it. And it explains here in the Article 2 that this is phase 1 of a multi-phase project that they're stretching out.
What this will also do, though, is the fact that we're going to commit money will allow the group doing the restoration to go out, the Historical Commission, to go out and look for other grants, sources and any funding to do it. So hopefully that'll defer some of the costs as we go on. Article 9, Article 10, these are some articles related to public safety. Section 111F of the Mass General Law is the section of the general law that is in place for police and fire if they go out on injured on duty.
Okay.
And basically it says that they get pay continuation throughout the time that they're out. And the town, either through the town or through its insurance, would pay the officers and keep them whole basically throughout that period of time. What we're looking to do here is create an indemnity fund that in the event that we change insurers, because certain insurers handle this in different ways. Now we have the insurer we have right now will pay the employee directly, so we don't have to do anything, versus claims that have to come in, be filed through the town, and then the town would seek reimbursement from the insurance company. In the interim, we still would be paying the person through our salary process and covering overtime shifts and all those kind of things. What this indemnity fund would do would allow us to, if we changed insurers, to still pay the person, but any reimbursement that comes in would go into this fund.
Okay.
So it kind of become a revolving fund more than anything. So it helps the department, you know, with any overtime coverage and things that they have, and it also continues to pay the employee as well. So it's basically to create the fund. We're not asking to fund any money in it at this point. It's just a matter to have that fund available to us if we need it. Article 10 is another article related to public safety, and this has to do with public safety retirement. Currently, we're members of the Worcester County Retirement Bureau, and when someone works for the town, we pay into retirement, and basically an annuity is purchased for that person, so that when they retire, there's funds available to fund their retirement. If we were to hire a call firefighter to become a career firefighter, in this case, what happens is if they've been on the call department for a period of time, they're allowed to buy back up to 5 years of their time. Now, it's at their expense, it's not at the town's expense. What this does, though, is it will allow that firefighter through the town's charter, to purchase any additional years as well. So the retirement board says right now you can only get 5. We're going to say you've worked 8 years, you can purchase 3 more years.
Okay.
Again, at your expense as part of this. If we didn't have this in place, Worcester County would say no, it's only 5.
Right.
So from a recruiting point of view, this is a recruiting tool for us as well. But it also affects the police department for part-time police officers, who may also in some cases move in to become full-time members of the department. But in either case, it's good for the town, good for the employee.
Okay.
And again, it's at no cost to the town at all. It's strictly voluntary on the employee's part. If they decide they want to, they can buy the extra years.
Great.
So that's what those two
Just
are.
an extra option to help
Yeah.
keep people in town.
Well, the nice thing is, from a fire perspective, is we're spending the time in the call department right now. It's probably training as much as what the full-time department does. The type of training they get and all that. Ideally, if an opening occurs and we have somebody who's ready to move from and who wants to make that change from being a call firefighter to a career firefighter, for us, it's ideal to have somebody who's already trained on all our apparatus, trained on all our operating guidelines, all those kind of things, to be able to move in.
Right.
And this is another tool that allows us to keep that person and bring them in. So that's what it'd be for. Article 12, we're going to pass over. This donation has already occurred to the town. It was given to the Board of Selectmen already. It's some property up on Douglas Street. It's right near where the Campanelli Business Park is. And there's a fairly nice 3-acre property that's up there. Conservation Commission walked it, and they determined it to be a nice property for the town. So we've already accepted that property. Article 13, if we're going to get into, if you want to call it controversy, we're going to get into some discussion. This is where it's going to happen in the meeting. And it comes down to a bylaw that I just wish once and for all we can get done correctly and get it out of the way and never see it again. And it has to do with the adoption of zoning bylaws in the table of use. And it has to do with section 400-23, which is marijuana establishments and medical marijuana treatments and so forth. What we were hoping to do with this article is very simply explain, what the article, what this bylaw basically was going to do. One is to allow for the delivery of marijuana in the community. So in other words, similar to if you order out from a restaurant,
DoorDash,
Grubhub, all these kind of things. Actually, there's you can order alcohol through Drizzly. And what this does is it allows a local retailer to deliver to residences in the town of Uxbridge, okay, and actually in other communities as well. But what I don't think people realize is the regulation that the retailers or the delivery companies have to go through is fairly significant. It's like delivering in an armored car, basically. And body cameras have to be worn. They're monitored from the time they leave to the time they deliver. There's lock boxes. It's an incredible amount of security that occurs to allow this to happen. The other thing is, on any of the transactions that may occur, the town would also get the sales tax on that as well. So there's a financial incentive to the town to do it. Now, currently, since we allow for the retail sale and consumption of adult use marijuana in the town of Uxbridge, other delivery companies from other communities can deliver product to people in the town of Uxbridge. We don't see any of the, any revenue from that. Another community would.
Right.
So basically, just puts us on an even playing field, with the other
Right.
communities. With
And once
this.
again, this is a growing industry in our area, and regulations are changing, and
we've only seen the beginning of it, to
Right.
be honest with you. The other thing this does is it will establish the maximum number of adult retail marijuana dispensaries at the same number as what we have for alcohol establishments where you can't drink alcohol on premises.
Right.
What that means is if you go into a deli or you go into a convenience store, you go into the mobile gas station in the center of town, you can buy beer and wine. Right, there's 8 of those establishments in town, so we would set the number of these type of establishments at that same number. So the maximum will be 8.
Right.
We have 3 currently, so what it is an increase of 5. Now, one of the other reasons for that is that delivery that we talked about. That's a separate license.
Okay.
But one of the other components of that is you do also need a retail license as part of that.
Okay.
So if we have anybody who wants to come in, do delivery, they're going to need to have a retail license that goes with that. So that's what that is, and then it's just a matter of a couple of changing 2 paragraphs in the bylaw, and then renumbering some things. So
Right.
so that's really what the extent of this article is, and then the most important thing. And I've asked the moderator to break this into 2 sections, because the most important thing that has to happen is the table of use needs to change. What's happened is in all the iterations of this bylaw as it's gone on, the table of use from where the retail establishments now are allowed has switched.
Okay.
So they're currently, by the current zoning bylaw, they're located in the wrong zone.
Okay.
So theoretically, they're
Right.
operating illegally.
Okay.
So when we first adopted it, everything was correct.
Right.
When we did the next one, the table changed, it flipped, everything
Okay.
gets approved by the Attorney General. Now we find, wait a minute, we have
Wait a
a
second.
problem. Attorney General says you got to go back and fix that. So
Okay.
if we do nothing else, if the rest of this people decide they don't want to take up, we have to fix this.
Fix it, yeah.
So hopefully, people will understand that that part of it still needs to be done. And I've also asked that we tackle the change in the table before we do anything else.
Right.
So not to confuse
Yeah, because
the
then
issue.
it could
Right.
cancel out the other part.
It could. So we're gonna look at doing that.
Okay.
The rest of these, Article 14 is a street acceptance on Maslow's Way. All the requirements to become a town road have been met by the developer.
Okay.
And the Board of Selectmen, the Planning Board, both have all voted favorably on it. Everyone's done site visits out there, done a number of different things, and it looks like it's ready to go.
Great.
Article 15, a similar type thing, has been, the developers asked to withdraw that, so we'll probably pass over that.
Okay.
Article 16, I've seen some correspondence that the petitioner is looking to withdraw this as well. So, I'm assuming that's going to happen on that as well.
Okay.
And that'll take us into
Day
Article
2.
17, which will be the second day of the meeting, and obviously the charter revisions and so forth.
Sure. And we've done a program with the chair and clerk of that committee, explaining all the changes and everything else. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Where can people find the warrant?
It's on the town website, right on the front page of the town website.
Okay.
If you look, you click, you'll find not only the warrant that was originally posted, but the report, which gives you the commentary, the motion that'll be made, and then everything you need to know. All the attachments are part of it as well. So I mentioned the bylaw, the strike-throughs and all that on the bylaw. It's all there. All the financial information's there. Everything people would need to know is on the town website.
Great. Excellent. Stephen, thank you very much for joining me, and as
Thanks for
usual,
having me
we'll
again.
always have you back. We'll
Yeah.
talk about more events going on in town.
Yeah.
Great.
I appreciate it.
All right, thanks. All right, thank you very much for watching F.Y.I. Uxbridge. If you know anyone that's interested in coming onto the show, talk about events going on in town and want to promote a event that's going on, you can reach me at bgiles@uxbridge-ma.gov, or you can go to the town website and look for cable access television, click on that link, and it will bring you right to our information. And once again, as Mr. Setti had mentioned, go to uxbridge-ma.gov for more information on and see the actual charter. And please come out next Tuesday and Wednesday to participate in our fall annual town meeting. Thank you for watching.